Jason Hurd.
Thank you, Sandra. I appreciate it. I want to thank all of you for being here today. Give yourselves a round of applause. Sandra and Joseph tell me that this very well may be the largest demonstration of its kind in this area since the Vietnam War. And that is phenomenal. I am proud to be a part of this. By turning out in the numbers you have today, you're making a really bold statement. Your presence here today lets me know that the work of people like Sandra and the work of people like Joseph and concerned Tennessee citizens and Democracy Now! Tri-Cities is heard and appreciated. And I want to give my thanks to all of those who made this possible today. More importantly, this gathering tells me that even here in the mountains of East Tennessee, the Iraq War is the most important issue of our time, and we are not going to tolerate this war any longer. Now, what's that?
I haven't tolerated it yet.
Oh, well, good for you. Now, I brought with me this flyer today, and for those of you who cannot see it, on the front of it there's a picture of a wonderful 10-year-old Iraqi girl named Sally. Sally is from a small Iraqi town called Haswa, and a group called No More Victims, headed up by a wonderful guy named Cole Miller, brought Sally and her father Hussein here to the U.S., and now they currently reside in Greenville, South Carolina. 3 days ago, I had the privilege and the heartache of meeting Sally and her father at a potluck in Asheville that was held in their honor. And I'll say that it was a privilege because these two are so full of life and love, it's amazing, and you can see it in them. And I feel like I'm a better person for having met them. But I also say that it was a heartache because last November, Sally was the victim of a U.S. airstrike in Iraq. And now she lives life as a double amputee. As Sally and her 13-year-old brother were playing outside of their Iraqi home, at that moment, a U.S. plane flying a combat mission launched 3 missiles into the area, taking Sally's legs and her brother's life. Now, No More Victims brought Sally and her father here so that she could receive life-saving treatment that's not available in Iraq. And my heart ached. My heart ached with sadness and embarrassment. But look, my heart ached with sadness for this little girl and her family. Thank you very much. But my heart also ached with grief, and my heart ached with guilt. And I'm talking about the kind of guilt that I felt because my taxpayer dollars went to pay for those missiles. And I'm also talking about the kind of guilt knowing that the person who launched those missiles wore the exact same uniform that I'm wearing today and acted on orders from another person in this exact same uniform. Now, I'm not telling you this story to assuage my own guilt. In fact, I'm telling you this because suffering brought about by U.S. intervention is all too common an occurrence in Iraq today. But if you listen to the information as filtered through the corporate media and the Bush administration, you get the impression that occurrences like these are far and few between. Instead, you hear stories that appeal to your patriotism. You hear stories about soldiers sacrificing their lives for abstract values like duty, loyalty, honor, and freedom. But when our executive branch talks about the Iraqi population and the suffering that they go through, it's often in very faceless and overly conservative terms. And the report given by General Petraeus just almost 2 weeks ago, despite General Petraeus' personally written statement, I am sure he understands that failing to give an optimistic report on Iraq will have dire consequences for his military career. The view that General Petraeus gave a completely independent and objective report is simply, there is a mortality rate that has quadrupled since our invasion. We have left them with a dilapidated infrastructure that still cannot provide water and electricity to its population. Just last year, a Johns Hopkins report published in The Lancet, an academic journal, placed the number of dead civilians in Iraq at nearly 750,000. And now we have reports that that number may even be higher. Some of them say over 1 million people dead. But worst of all, that blood, some of it, is on our hands, just like the death of Salih's older brother. That blood is on our hands. We have plunged the Iraqi population into a world of violence where they live every single day of their lives in fear. Now, the figures that I've been talking about, they indicate the prevailing sentiment among Iraqis, and the best way that I can sum that up for you is by using the words of an Iraqi man that I met on patrol in Baghdad one day. You see, part of our mission for this day was to get out and meet and greet the local population, talk to them, see what we could do to help them, see if we were helping them. And so I saw this man on the side of the road, and I went up to him and I asked him, are we helping you? Are your lives here better because we are here? And he looked at me and he replied, Mister, we Iraqis understand that you have good intentions here. But before America invaded, we didn't have to worry about car bombers in our neighborhoods. We did not have to worry about the safety of our children as they